what should I pick? Should I pick door number 1, which is safety and security, or at least I think that's it? Or should I pick door number 2? What do you think I should pick, huh? I'm scared. But let's pretend life is like let's make a deal, and God is perhaps silent Monty Hall. We're going to discuss all that, aren't we? Yes, we are. All right. So did you know I'm the bravest woman on the internet? I am, according to everybody, and nothing ever frightens me. It doesn't. Do you really believe that? I'm terrified most of the time. How terrified am I? This morning I went and had a breakfast buffet, and I had this script in my mind, and I wanted to hurry up and write it down and get back to you guys. And I needed a cup of coffee to go, and I was afraid to ask for a cup of coffee to go. Isn't that silly? But yeah, it is silly, but now I got a cup of coffee, and to the victor goes the spoil, right, Miss Lucy? All right, so what is fear? It's so funny. When they said you need a service dog, my 4 different doctors, I was terrified. And you know what? It turned out to be the best thing ever. All right, you want to sit down? She wants to go down for another nap. All right, so what is fear? False evidence appearing real. Let that sink in. I know you all heard it. Why don't we say it again? False evidence appearing real. And why are we talking about this today? Because I have a lot of viewers that love doing what I'm doing, but they're afraid. And you know what? I'm afraid too. I'm always afraid, but it doesn't matter. You know, I think Swanky taught me to man up, basically. I always think, what would Swanky do, right? So everybody looks at me like I'm brave. And yes, sometimes I give off a false sense of security. But the truth is, what I do is easy, really easy. My brain makes it hard and complicated. You know, it's like waddling through mud up there to get me to where I want to go. But you know what? I'm going to waddle through that mud. You know, there was a show a long time ago, Inside Herman's Head or whatever, and you had all these influences. What about this? What about this? And that's what our brain does to us. I'm always afraid, but fear's not going to stop me. Right now, I have to get through. I have to plan my big trip through the United States. This is my 5th trip going cross country solo, and it terrifies me. It really does. And basically, I leave without a plan. We'll get into that. But I get out of my comfort zone. My comfort zone is Southern California. Southern United States. I'm really comfortable. Utah, Arizona, Nevada, Southern California, even a little bit of New Mexico. I'm good at these states. I know everything about them like the back of my hand. But once I leave these states, you know, I'm just as terrified as everybody else. But I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And life begins when you take a leap of faith. Remember, I took that leap of faith 11 years ago. I leaped into the unknown. So let's talk about picking door number 2 and faith and God. And now, if you don't want to hear this, if you're like, oh my gosh, she's getting religious, which I'm not. Everybody, I think most people believe in something, you know, a higher power, serendipity, coincidence, or whatever. But I'm going to use that 3-letter word, so I'm sorry. That's my faith. But you can turn off the video right now, and that's okay. We can still be friends. We can agree to disagree. All right, so let's pretend we're on Let's Make a Deal. And God is Monty Hall, but he's like silent Monty Hall. You know, like there's a couple of doors up there, and you've already picked door number 1, and behind door number 1 is the vault or the safe. And basically what's in the vault is your past. It's everything that you've known. And sometimes, you know, you can judge by the past what the future is going to be, but not all the times. I mean, you might have a really good job and it be gone tomorrow, but you at least know today you have a really good job. So vault number 1 represents security, okay? And we don't know what's behind door number 2 and door number 3. You know, so let's talk about me picking the other doors. So my attorney came up to me and said, Terry, door number 1 is a lifetime of domestic violence. Chances are good, based on the past, that you'll probably wind up dead. Remember those sweet, loving words he used to whisper in your ear? He used to say, shovel and a bag of lime. Well, we'll just like in the game show, will you keep what you have or go for door number 2? And I could hear the audience yelling, come here, audience, come here. And what were they yelling? Oh, leaving your husband's a sin. You're going to go to hell. Oh, leave him. Go ahead, do that. And, basically the audience members are all your family and your friends saying, don't live in a van, car, truck, or SUV. You're crazy. That's what crazy people do. And then some people are saying, go for it. And, you're going back and forth. Should I make that leap of faith? Should I not make that leap of faith? Lucy, you are the best audience member, aren't you? You want to go for another nap? There you go. So, I don't know. What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. That's the definition, and y'all know this, right? So nobody knows what's behind door number 2. Now, you can imagine if God is Silent Monty Hall, but what if he said, hey, Terry, you're going to leave your husband with the clothes on your back in your van. Now get this, I got a plan. All right, so you're going to be so down and out, you're going to shave your head, right? You're going to shave your head in a manic state, get in your van, and go meet Bob Wells. And of course, Swanky and Sue Ann and everyone. And he'll show you that, number one, all men aren't jerks, right? But because of these meetings that you have with Bob and Swanky and Sue Ann, there's going to be this major motion picture that wins all of these awards, partly based on your chance meeting with Bob 8 years ago. Well, if Monty Hall Bob God said that, we would all pick door number 2 or 3, wouldn't we? But you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what's behind door number 2. Your brain's telling you it's death and destruction. So, but it's not. So, is my life still like this? Of course. I'm the queen of stealth camping. I know that, especially in the Southwest. But when I get to the East Coast, I'm terrified. It's nothing like my Southwestern states. I love my Southwestern states. This year, I'm getting a late start, so that means I got to climb north. I love going through I-10, I-40. I'm really familiar with those, but going up to meet up with the 80 or the 90, that's really north. And I have a choice. Am I going to be miserable about it, or am I going to be happy about it? And I'm like, well, I could see Glacier National Park and Mashed Potato Mountain, Devil's Tower, that's what it is, Devil's Tower. Do I have my route planned? No, I never plan my route. Why? Because the weather is totally unpredictable, and I just go by ear. I have 1 or 2 apps on my phone, and we should get into apps. And basically, I think it's RV Parky. I drive a little bit, and then I find a place to camp overnight. And if I have a good feeling about the area, I go on TripAdvisor. Hey, what's to do in the area, and do a little exploration. Now, that sort of talk terrifies people. You just take off in your van and you go wherever, whenever. Yeah, I do. But, I may not have a plan of where, I have an idea of where I'm going, but there are things that are well planned out. Before I go on a 6,000 mile journey, 6 to 7,000 miles, by the time I go all over, the van's going to be inspected in tip-top shape. Of course, oil change, tires checked, everything, goes through it. And then when I get to the East Coast, it's going to go through the same exact thing. AAA, I never leave home without it. And also, a week before, every year I do this, I pack the van. This is not a normal camping trip. I'm going to be out in the middle of the desert in extreme heat. I'm going to be up in the mountains in fall. We have Flagstaff, we have the Poconos, so it has to be packed for extreme cold and extreme heat. Coming home, if I go through the 40, I think it is, Flagstaff, Arizona, it could snow in there in the late fall, so I got to be prepared. I have to be prepared for constant rainstorms. It may rain for 3 days in a row. That's why I don't make plans. I'm never going to say I'm going to go to this amusement park on Tuesday, and then the next for 1 solid week it's going to rain. It's just going to delay your plans. So when I get to where I get to, then I start making plans based on weather. I've driven through Tornado Alley. There's hurricanes out there. There's all sorts of bugs. The humidity will kill you. So this, it's all played by ear. Me and Miss Lucy staying comfortable is number one. And that's how I make my decisions. So what I'm saying is I've learned to be really flexible when it comes to navigating the East Coast. Flexibility, trust, basically trust. So the trip does frighten me because, like I said, my Southwest is all I really know. But even though I'm frightened, I'm still going to do it. I do know I have friends and family out there that do want to see me. Yay. And what's behind door number one when we get to the summer? It's going to be hot out here. Palm Springs is going to cook in the 120s upwards to 130s. Who wants to be hot and miserable? That's my choice. Be hot and miserable or go off on an adventure. So I don't know. I don't know what's behind door number two this summer. I mean, it could be the greatest adventure of my life. It could be the worst adventure of my life. But I'm going to pick door number two. But my question for you is, are you going to pick door number one, which is safety and security? Or are you going to pick door number two?